after preparing them for the exam session, that is after 6 months, they had to travel to Accra to now come and write their exam. So that was where the questions started coming, because management started asking questions. Where are you from? What institution are you from? And so that was a big issue. So after that particular sitting, management said, of course, they weren't going to allow me, to have, continuous engagement with them.
Because you went through the back door.
Because I went to the back door.
Tell me, what lessons would you say you've learned as a young entrepreneur whose business didn't succeed the first time? What lessons have you learned that you share with the rest of us?
So the first lesson is, of course, there's something about MPP's 10-point industrialization agenda. They are trying to pair SMEs, the smaller companies, with bigger companies. One thing that I would tell young guys is that whatever you want to do, there are people who have already done it. And it's very important that you go through the proper procedure, build a very good relationship with them. Don't think you know it all, but out of your youthful exuberance, you can do it. Those who are ahead of you, they have seen what you are yet to see. They have gone through the test of time, and it's very important that you go through some sort of mentorship.
Okay.
So my uncle PV, with my current business, he's a strong consultant in terms of advice. There is no single step that I would take without consulting him for advice.
Okay.
So I think young entrepreneurs should be able to pay particular attention to how they build their, they go through mentorship, they learn from the previous generation, and then of course we can stand on their shoulders so we can see clearly for our next generation. That is one of our biggest lessons I can learn.
Somebody would say that the next question I'm about to ask, you have captured and answered a response in your earlier, answer. But let me ask that question anyway.
Right.
What would you want the youth to know by way of how to sustain businesses? I'm asking this because you've talked about mentorship and, seeing or meeting the right people who have gone through the mill, and therefore you don't have to make or repeat the same mistakes and all that. But some young entrepreneurs have had their businesses collapse.
Right.
So, based on that, what would you say to them as to what they can do to sustain their businesses, to maintain them for as long as possible?
All right. Thank you, David. One thing that I think entrepreneurs of our time should pay particular attention to is that today's environment is very dynamic. And when you commit yourself to the path of entrepreneurship journey, learning should be a lifestyle. You should never stop learning, because the environment, both within internal businesses and the external factors, it keeps changing. And it's very important that you need to keep an eye on these internal and external factors and make sure you are up to date. Customers are changing, the marketing environment is changing, the technological environment is changing, the legal environment is changing, globalization is also taking on a different turn. It's very important that if you want to build a sustainable business, learning should be a lifestyle on every single day.
I hear you.
And then also work on your attitude as well.
Kwaku Boateng, thanks. I hope that your new business is doing well, though.
It's doing very well. It's very, very well.
If you have PV as a mentor, what else do you expect?
Right. That's right.
Thank you very much, Kwaku, for joining us on the phone lines. He started a business. The business collapsed. He's learned his lessons. He's into a new one that is doing well.